What's going on, guys? I am back here with another video. It is a Sunday afternoon. It's kind of raining outside. It's a little drizzling, so I don't really want to take the CRX to just cruise around today or do any racing. So right behind me, we have the Integra, and I know I've been having a lot of neglect towards this car in the last couple months. Haven't really been doing anything, but now I'm dedicated to actually put some work into it. A couple days ago, I sold the turbo kit off of it, so you can see there is no intercooler anymore, no charge piping, no manifold, no turbo, nothing. The complete kit is gone for good reason. Let me know what you think I'm gonna be doing since I sold that in the comment section down below. While you guys comment that, I'm gonna start working on this. As you can see, I already have it jacked up. Just gonna throw some jack stands under it. I can still show you guys, the motor is still kind of in, the block has been in the same place that it's been for months. Transmission obviously is still with the mounts and everything. I'm just gonna take the block out and actually tear it down since I still have the rotating assembly, like the crank and the rods that I'll be using on the new motor, as long as they're all within spec and, you know, good condition, of course. The new block is over there. I don't know if I did mention in a couple other videos. It's the sleeved ABS sleeves with O-rings and whatnot. So that's what's going to be being put together in the next couple weeks. But first, I just want to make sure that everything in this rotating assembly that I'll be using is usable. So I want to make sure that that's all good. I'm going to throw on some jack stands, take the block out, maybe do a little time lapse in the middle of it. In the meanwhile, and yeah, actually start getting working on the Integra that I haven't in a while. So hope you enjoy. I don't know why I didn't just pull the engine and transmission together to begin with. It would have been much easier. I could have raised the front of the where the driver's side mount goes and lowered the transmission mount and kind of like slide in and slide out like I used to do whenever I pulled the motor. For some reason in my head, I'm like, oh, just pull the block. But I wanted the transmission out as well. So I'm being stupid right now. I haven't worked on the car in a while. But I tried lifting it up, obviously, and it hit the ATI dampener. And since I already disconnected the transmission, the bell housing is separated from the motor. I can't lock it into gear and break the bolt that's tightened on the ATI dampener, unfortunately. So I'm going to see if I can go to my buddy's house, borrow his Impact, because mine was lost at the junkyard, unfortunately. And if I take the dampener off, then I should be able to slide right up. But maybe I should... Oh, no, I thought about just putting the transmission back together and onto the block and like taking it out how I normally do, nice and easy. But I can't do that anymore because the splines have already come out of the twin disc, from the transmission to the twin disc, and it's not aligned, so I can't really get a bell housing bolt in there and do it the correct way or whatever. I'm sure I could figure it out, but I'd rather just do things the hard way. Yep. So I'm gonna get an Impact and try to take that off. Shout out to my boy Khalid's. Got the bolt off like nothing with his Milwaukee. You know, he kicked that thing on him. I really gotta get one of these because these things are awesome. All right, so the crank pulley is off. The bolt, I obviously zapped it with the Milwaukee. One thing they don't really tell you about the ATI dampeners before you buy them, they are an awesome product, first of all. Second of all, they are always almost a press fit onto the crank itself. It's not a press fit pulley, but it's always super tight to get it off, so you kind of have to pry it back and forth. I like to do it from underneath the car with a little pry bar. Just a little bit prying on each side of the, like on the bottom of the oil pump on that little ridge. It's normally what I do. If it's not the correct way to do it, then whatever. But then I'll pry a little bit, turn the motor, pry, turn the motor, pry, and it comes off in like 5 minutes. But yeah, so that's off. I should be able to start jacking the motor up, and since the pulley's off, I can sway it over to one side. The clutch can clear the transmission bell housing, and it should be able to come straight up. That didn't exactly come out as straight as I wanted, but like I said, I should have really taken the time and taken the transmission out with the block. but it's whatever. Transmission is still in, engine is out. Just gotta pull it over to the side and I can start tearing down the bottom end and seeing exactly what we're working with. I think for the teardown, I'm gonna put it on the engine stand over there. I don't really need to, since this is just gonna be the block that is not gonna get used, but we have the stand, so why not go ahead and do that. First I have to take the twin disc off, so then we can pull the crank off all clean once it's on the stand. But it's just these little Allen head bolts. I'm not really gonna record too much, just telling you that I'm doing it right now. And I'll pull that out real quick. Just like that, clutch, flywheel, bolts are all off. And look at that, no leak on the rear main seal. We were good. The motor was good. All right, now I can actually throw this on the stand. Just a quick little tip on how I store my twin disc in this case while I'm refreshing everything. I have the flywheel bolts all in place on the flywheel, the twin disc set on top, and the outer bolts just by finger tightened down. So everything stays how it's supposed to be, the stack stays intact. And now I'm just gonna set that off into the corner. If it was gonna stay for a prolonged time, like maybe more than a couple days, I'd put a little baggie over it so no moisture or grease gets on it by accident or nothing. But since we're just gonna keep it for a couple days until we put the other motor together probably, or at most a couple weeks, I'm just gonna lay it off right here. If it ends up being more than a couple days before I made it to the block, then I will wrap it up with a bag or something. All right, so I have all the rods and pistons out. Now I just have the crank left in here, you know, spinning nice and easy, no hiccups in anything. All the bearings looked good. The crank itself looked good, no scoring whatsoever on the rod journals or anything. So next, all I have to do is take the oil pump and rear main seal off with the main caps as well. I'm not reusing these bolts or anything since I'm not sure if I mentioned it. On the new block, I have ARP mains with a line hone for the corresponding mains, of course. So that's what I'll be using on the new one. But this crank, as soon as we take it out and look at all the journals and everything, make sure it's good, is what we're gonna be using on the other block. So, without further ado, 10 millimeters and 12 millimeters here, 10s in the back. I'm talking about the bolt head, of course, and then the 14s for the mains, and that should be pretty much it for the rotating assembly. That should be completely torn down. All the bolts off for the oil pump. I'll give it a good whack, and it's separated as you can see now. But the thing is, with one hand, it's kind of hard. So yeah, put this down. All right, I'm starting to organize a little bit. I still have the rods and pistons right there. I have the mains in that little drawer. I got this little thing to put everything in. I don't know what you want to call it. But yeah, I'm going to store the oil pump and the rear main seal and everything in there. Basically, everything that I took off of the block, I'm going to put all together. That way everything's nice and organized. I'm gonna take the water pump off now, take the alternator and brackets off and everything. This block, even though that it had the blowout up top, I think we're gonna try to weld it and see if we can get it surfaced. If it works for like a low horsepower street car, awesome. If it doesn't work, then by all means, we're just gonna give it a shot just to see if we can salvage it. But yeah, so that's pretty much tore down. Crank is right there. Like I said, rods, pistons. Now I'm just basically cleaning up. So we're pretty much all torn apart right now. Block is bare, doesn't have any bungs or anything. The back breathers, I mean. The head studs are off, crank is out, rods, pistons are out, wind is tray, oil pan gasket, all that good stuff. So this block is pretty much ready to be tossed to the side, you know? And for those of you who are just now joining the channel and haven't seen when I took the head off of it, this is the torched area right there. Basically the head lifted, head gasket blew, and the heat from the exhaust did not melt the steel, I believe it's steel, sleeve, but it did get into the aluminum part of the sleeve, melted that, melted part of the CSS, carried on over here, and did a lot of burn over here. So basically what I was thinking, and a couple people actually told me, you can maybe weld that up since it is still the aluminum part of that. Get a nice TIG weld right there. I'll build it up just like people do on the heads and then surface it afterwards. And if it's still within serviceable limit, then it will probably be good. But you know, I'm going sleeved. Well, I have the sleeved motor now, so that has O-rings and everything. It should be a little stronger than this with a bigger piston and everything. So yeah, can't really go wrong. You versus the guy she tells you not to worry about. Fully sleeved, copper O-rings, all the way to 84 millimeter pistons, which Arias, nice pistons right there, ready to go. I'm just gonna order bearings. I believe that's all I need, and then I can actually start assembling this block. The glorious engine bay in its worst state right now. I don't know if you guys remember, a couple of years ago I actually painted this engine bay, and it's an off-the-shelf AutoZone rattle can. And right now you can't really see it, but it used to have a bunch of flake to it, or sparkle, whatever you want to call it. You can kind of tell right there. And the whole engine bay, when I first put the engine in, it looked beautiful with it. But obviously I didn't do any like welding or any stitch welding on where the seam sealer goes or nothing like that, no fancy stuff. Which maybe one day I'd love to do, but you know, for the time being, she keeps on being la fea. She's an ugly girl. We're not worried about cosmetics as much as we are about actual functionability. Another ugly thing about this engine bay, all the wiring I have, it's all kind of ran in through where the heater core OEM goes, and you know, it's not really neat. A couple of the connectors pulled off. It was having some issues reading some sensors. And luckily for this season, we are going with a Wireworks harness, so we're not gonna have any issues with connectivity or feed or nothing. It's gonna look super clean, be super efficient. It's gonna work how it should, and I'm super happy to be using the Wireworks harness this year. What I'm actually gonna do once the car is fully built and everything, with a new motor and everything, I'm gonna bring it down to my tuner, Carlos Tuning Shop. His shop is actually 2 bays away from Wireworks. So once the car is all done, we're gonna have it all wired up over there and then do the first startup over there as well. But that's for future stuff. We're not gonna get too much into details of that right now. For the time being, like I said, I have everything torn apart right now. I have to get rid of the oil from the transmission and from the engine that I was disassembling. Probably take that to AutoZone or something. Right now, it's just basically cleanup. Alrighty then, I just got home from work. I have the Integra and the CRX in the garage at the moment. Pretty busy day at work, so it's like almost 12:30, 1 in the morning, around there. So I just got home a couple minutes ago. So yeah, I kind of wanted just to end up the video by saying thanks for everybody bearing with me who have been wanting to see the Integra content but haven't been since I was focusing on the CRX. And for everybody who is interested in the CRX content, thank you so much also, because I love the fact that I was able to build this to how I want. There's still some things that I want to change up on it and modify, just like any car person. You want to keep on evolving your build and adding things, taking stuff off, etc. But I'm super happy the CRX is pretty much towards its finished state, or almost where it needs to be. And now we can like do full ahead on the Integra. I was hinting at the idea that I might do a VTEC head on the CRX. I still really want to do it because I feel like it'll pick up a lot of power with that. On the all-motor setup, it'll thrive so much. On nitrous, it'll kind of be a little better, but it won't be anything insane. But just for all-motor itself, I think it would really awaken the CRX. But given the fact that I want to go full forward with the Integra right now, I think that I'm going to focus my energies on the Integra, as well as my budget and everything on the Integra. so we can get back to the real track car, the real thing that started the whole channel, really. Not to say that that was the first car that I worked on, but it was what really gave me a passion to keep on documenting, and it really got me to where I am on YouTube right now. A lot of it was because of the Integra, and I have to thank you guys, the viewers, and the Integra for being able to collectively come together and you know, be what it is right now. So without further ado, there are things that I need to order for the car. I mentioned about the turbo kit earlier. I still want to see what you guys think I'm doing for the future of the turbo, for the Integra, what you guys think I'm going to be getting. Leave them down in the comment section below. But yeah, without further ado, that pretty much does sum up the video for tonight. I'm going to get working on the CRX. There's a few little things that I want to do tonight to it. Nothing major, so I'm not really going to document it. But I want to work on this for a couple hours before I go to sleep. And I think I keep on trying to close it out, but I keep on like getting off track. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.